today, I'm sure you've noticed there is a big change. And if you can't tell what that big change is, then I'm not trying to be mean, but there must be something a little bit wrong. But today I wanted to show you my tutorial, or kind of my routine for straightening my hair. This is just how I straighten my hair when I do to kind of get it to look like this. And I don't do it all the time, but you guys have been requesting it, so I did want to show this to you. And throughout the video, there's some tips and tricks to making it less damaging to your hair. So if you do have really fragile hair or you don't want split ends, there's a couple tips in there that might be able to help you. But this is just a basic 101 on straightening and just my personal opinion of how I like to go about doing it. So I really hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll show you how. So I'm sure you guys can hear the birds, and I apologize, but first things first, it kind of starts off with what I do in the shower. Hi, bird. That's what I'm talking about. So the first thing starts when I actually get out of the shower, and this is not my natural hair. My natural hair is very, very curly. So what I do, I actually take my hands, I separate my hair out, and I actually kind of pull down on it, and then I use a blow dryer to blow dry it dry. And when I blow dry it like this, it kind of helps straighten it out. Now I use this on a cool heat setting to kind of minimize the damage. That bird is so annoying. There are two that I really like. This is the Bespoke Labs T3, and this is the Hana Air S. What's good is that these both have, these little concentrators, and they both have cool burst buttons. So those cool burst buttons really help to smooth out the cuticle instead of frying it as much, because the heat is what kind of opens up the follicle of the hair and damages it a bit. So I do pull when I do this. I don't rip, but I do pull gently to try to give that, get that a little bit straighter, which is how I end up with this. Sometimes before I even blow dry, I'll add my iron guard, but today I'm just going to apply after. So this is the Chi 44, and so many different products make my hair curl even after I've straightened them. This is like the only one that doesn't. So I'm gonna start here at the ends and then work this up into my hair a little bit. And you just want to let this sit until it dries. I have tried using this when it's still wet and straightening over this when it's still wet, and it just doesn't work that well. So I'm going to pay a lot of attention to the ends where most of my split ends happen and just work this up into my hair. Now, like I said, if you did this when your hair was wet, you can go ahead and blow dry. You could blow dry this now, but I'm just going to kind of let this naturally soak in, and I'll be back in about probably 10 minutes once this is all dried. So I actually went and made lunch, but you guys can see this is already causing my hair to curl up quite a bit. Now I'm going to brush it out, and the way I do this, you have to be very careful because brushing alone can cause split ends and damage. I start at the bottom and I work my way up very, very gently. Also, I use a boar bristle brush. This is just one from Goody, and I have an issue with hairbrushes. They get hair all up in them, and I even try to get the hair out, and I even try to condition them. But to be completely honest, if I use a brush too much, I have to end up throwing them away because there is no way to get the hair out. And I'm just going to brush this out very gently and work my way up to kind of from the tip to the root of my hair. And this is just exhibit A of why I generally don't brush my curly hair, and this is even after I've blow dried it. But next you want to heat up your straightener. If you're super, super worried about heat protection and damage, I would recommend going with one that has a heat setting. This one doesn't. This is a GHD. This is a really good one. Chi is also really good, and you can find Chi on sale at Ulta or at JCPenney. Amika is pretty inexpensive, and they have some good straighteners too, but I use this one. I think this one is like 400 degrees, so it's definitely not the best, but if you're really worried about heat damage, I would recommend going for something that has a heat control, putting it on the lowest setting and working in very, very small pieces and just going over them a couple of times, because generally over time it will get straightened. But I'm going to be using this one. I'm going to plug it in and let it heat up. Alright, so now that my straightener's heated, I'm going to kind of section off my hair. And I actually prefer to work from back to front, that's just me. But I'll take kind of a piece by the nape of my neck and just start going over it. If your hair is very difficult to straighten like mine, I'd recommend going in smaller pieces, but if your hair straightens pretty well, you can take larger pieces. But I usually go over this just pretty slow and pretty straight, and I kind of have to do it a few times. You should honestly spend about maybe 10 seconds per piece for each time that you're going over it. Also, once I get to the ends, I tend to let up a little bit just because that's where a lot of my damage happens. And I don't know if that's actually going to help it or not, but in my experience, I believe it has, so that's just what I do. And the more patient you are, kind of the slower you go, the better results you're probably going to get. At least that's what happens with me. I feel like if I go faster, it ends up ripping the hair more, and I also don't get it as straight. Alright, so I'm gonna finish up this side and be right back. Alright guys, so once that's done, your hair is straight, and that's just about it. If you find that your hair is a little bit lackluster or isn't as luminous or bright, there is a product by Bumble and Bumble that I occasionally use. It's like a spray, and you just kind of spray it on and it makes your hair a bit more shiny. But for me, if I use too much of it, it will curl back up again. And I think I'm pretty good today, so that's all I'm gonna do. But this is just how I straighten my hair, a couple tips to make it maybe less damaging, and maybe a couple tips for you guys if you're looking for a new way to straighten your hair. So I love you guys so much. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to talking to you all soon. Love you guys. Bye.